All right, many blessings, friends. Welcome to House 633 Wednesday online service. It is such an honor, a pleasure to be with you guys. This is an amazing Wednesday. I'm with great company here today. So I have my daughter joining me, and I have Angelina joining us for week number
Yay!
2. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves for all of you guys out there that don't know who they are. So I'll start with you, Evelyn. Say hello to the crowd and just tell them who you are.
Well, hi guys. My name is Evelyn. My father is actually my pastor and my father, obviously. But no, I'm really happy to be here with you guys. This is actually my first time being here on a Wednesday chat live with you guys. So I'm actually really honored to be here. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, my mom, for allowing me to be here and for entrusting me to be here as well. I really love you guys, and I'm really happy to be here with Miss Angie too. I'm happy to be here with you. So thank you guys.
Love you too.
I'm Angelina, as you guys already know. I was here last week on Wednesday, and I'm here for the second week. It's funny because I'm more nervous today than I was the last week.
I know. You were much calmer last week, huh? But that's a good thing. Being nervous allows us to be more authentic and for people to get to see us. And, you know, like every Wednesday, we usually come here. Today's going to be like an open topic. It's still the responsibility of freedom. We are talking that freedom is not being able to do whatever we want, but freedom is actually the ability to be able to do the will of God or to do our assignment. And I wanted to read one point, and then I'm going to kick it off to you guys because I wanted to have you guys here because I wanted you guys to speak to your generation. Sometimes with me being, a little bit older, people are like, it's just pastor. But with you guys being young, you guys are right in the mix of everything. So you guys can speak to a lot of these things and speak to the people online and be able to help them out. But I want to read this point, and it says that being released from the oppressor does not guarantee a release from oppression. Responsibility does. And what that means is basically that you guys are we're living in America, the land of the free, democracy, where we have choices and we can do anything that we want, but we are not doing the will of God most of the time. And we find ourselves stuck in situations because even though we're free, we're not responsible. And what can you say in regards to the burden of freedom or the responsibility of freedom in regards to your generation? What do you think your guys' issues are?
You want to go, Angie?
No, you can go. Angie. It's your first time.
Go for it.
In regards of the responsibility of freedom in our generation, I actually feel that I was talking to my dad that sometimes we feel as our generation, we're young, obviously, so I sometimes feel that we feel free in a sense of like, I grew up in a Christian home. I was always surrounded around pastors, or always surrounded in a religious home. So you sometimes always feel like, I had like the freedom to do certain things. I had the freedom to do certain other stuff. But sometimes I feel like freedom not only comes into I'm free within myself. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. But sometimes you have to be free within yourself. In a sense, so it can also come with your who you are as a person, I guess you can say. Are you free from depression? Are you free from not loving people? Are you free from not loving yourself? Are you free from a lot of things that people don't really talk about, and people really just talk about, the freedom to, I can do whatever the heck I want, and I'm 26 years old, I can do this, I can do that. And sometimes I tell my dad, I'm like, in the Christian home, you obviously think differently, but when I started the kingdom, I feel like your mentality just changes so much in the sense of your freedom in Christ. And sometimes I feel like I would tell my dad, sometimes I think I'm free from this and I'm free from that, but in reality, sometimes you're not, because you're still going through it. You're still doing this, and sometimes people think that's freedom from outside, but sometimes it can be freedom from within. And I feel that's something that's very important, to be free, to have that freedom within yourself.
So being free it's not enough just being free physically.
Correct.
It's about being free spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You have all of these things that are weighing you down, tying you down. And I'm talking about not you personally, but I'm just talking about your generation. I'm talking about people that are in your age group, where you look at their Instagram and you look at their TikTok and you look at their Facebook and whatever social media that they're using, and they look happy. They look like they have it all together. But behind the scenes, you know, they're struggling with loving people. They're struggling with forgiving people. They're struggling with just understanding themselves their identity, self-love, and all this crazy stuff that happens. So when we talk about the responsibility of freedom, it doesn't necessarily mean the freedom to go do all these other things, because you can be out there in the world, turning up, like you guys say, right? But inside you got bitterness. Inside you got anger. Inside you have this frustration. Inside you guys are going through all these things, but what the kingdom really wants to do is bring you to repentance, changing the way that you think, so that you can experience life the way it was meant to be lived. What do you think about that, Angelina?
Oof. Well, I guess growing up, I've always seen, I guess this is what I called it in high school, growing up fast. And all of my high school friends would talk about, like, oh, I can't wait to move out. I can't wait to live on my own. I can't wait to be a grown-up and, you know, not be with my parents. A lot of that definition, that's freedom to them. I thought the same thing. So me, or you want to say? No.
I'm saying that's good, because I read something, I don't know if it was a meme or I don't know where I read it. I read so much, where they were speaking to a teenager. And they were telling him, hey, you know, right now that you're smart, that you're independent, that you're creative, that you got it all together, you better move out before life hits you. You know, because when you're going through high school and junior high, you're always telling your parents, like, hey, leave me alone. I got it all together. I know what I'm doing. I want my freedom. I want to go out with my friends. I want to go out doing all these things. And then you finally get to that point where you do have that freedom and you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do. You want to go drink, you want to smoke, you want to go have your boyfriend, you want to go do all this stuff, and then you find out that it's not freedom, that it's actually more burdensome and more troublesome, frustrating than anything else. So, you know, you guys are young, and you guys, let's talk about high school.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started with that.
Let's talk about high school.
High school was crazy for my dad, for my parents,
because there might be people that are listening to this conversation that are probably in their senior year, junior year in high school, and those are the years when you think you know it all. You think that you got it all together. You have the answer to every question. Don't tell me what to do because I got it. But like, how old are you now?
I'm 20. How old am I? 25.
25. How is your thinking now versus when you were 16, 17, 18?
Oh my God, my mentality changed so much that now I'm like looking back, because I used to think that you guys were so overprotective. Like, I was not allowed to have a boyfriend. I was not allowed to like be out after 9 o'clock. I was not allowed to do like all these things. And I saw all my friends do it. And I'm like, oh my God, like I want to do that. Like I want to do those things. I want to like, you know, just go to the movies with my friends and stuff like that. But now that I'm older and married and have a baby, now I'm like, oh my God, like now I tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, remember you used to tell me this? Now I'm like I'm just like so amazed of how your mental health needs to become your number one priority, because if not, it's not gonna be good. And sometimes like in high school, I remember my dad would like always be like, no, you're gonna remember when you grow up, you're gonna do this and that. And now I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like I appreciate my parents a little bit more now, because I'm more of like, wow, like I could have saved so much time that I wasted years back. And I could have probably been somewhere else different, but at the end of the day, like, you know, we make decisions and it is what it is, and we just have to continue working on ourselves and our mental state and just keep moving forward. And now that I see my grandma here, because I remember she would always tell me to, like, so I had moved out of my house. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
No, go for it. That's what this is all about. It's about getting real and being authentic in what it is. This is life.
Yeah, it's life, because I had moved out with such a poor mentality about myself, my self-esteem. It was you sometimes you think like, oh, like, you know, I always think good about myself and stuff like that, but in reality, when you have like other things that are affecting you, you deep down have to check, like, no, like, I'm not okay. And when I moved out, my mentality was not good. I wasn't good. And so I remember my grandma was a big part of my transitioning into the kingdom, because I remember my grandma was there, and she would tell me, like, you know, you have to, like, you have to, you know, remember who you are, and you can't be doing this and you can't be doing that, like, you have to go back to your parents and you have to do this. And at that time, I wasn't like, I wasn't in a good mental state where I was like, okay, like, you know, I just wanted to do me. Like, I wanted to party. I wanted, you know, to go out. I wanted to date. I wanted to do everything that I thought that my parents weren't allowing me to do. And now I feel like I really do appreciate my grandma that's here. But I appreciate you, Grandma, because everything that you helped me be the person that I am today, and the person that I want to be for Bella. And I strongly feel that one of the things that I have worked in my life was love, because I've always been a caring person, and I've always been a person to just be super kind and everything. And I felt like I lost myself. I felt like I lost myself of, like, that kindness person that I was. I lost who I was. I lost my identity. And I feel like now going back, I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe, like, I did all of this stuff because I lost who I was. Like, I lost my identity. I was going based on what somebody else was telling me. Like, I was based on, you know, what they wanted for me, not what I wanted for myself, or not anything like that. And so now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm just so grateful that the kingdom has helped me and changed my mentality in so many levels. And I'm really grateful for that. And I know that we all have different stories. We all have gone through whatever it is. But I do feel that love is one of the things where it has impacted my life, because without love, love for yourself, love for other people, I feel like you wouldn't be able to go through life with it. Because if you're always just so angry about your decisions, if you're always so bitter about certain stuff that you've been through and all of that, it's like you're not living life. Like, you're not living life. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I would tell Dad, like, you know, he always preaches us, like, you're created in God's image. And in God's image, I looked it up and I was like, okay, what is God's image? Like, what is it? And so I remember it had said, God is love. God
doesn't have love. God is love.
God is love. And I was like, you know, if God is love, then, and we're created in his image, then that's who we are supposed to be. And I feel like that's the reason why he made love a big priority, or like a big, you know, thing, because that love comes within ourselves too, like loving ourselves and who we are, and not what other people, you know, portray for us to be. Love for other people, loving different characteristics and everything like that you have taught us. So yeah, I feel like, I don't even know why we're going through this, but
you know what, the Spirit wants to go in this way, and yeah. I'm just letting the Spirit go wherever he wants to go. I'm listening to you talk, and I'm pretty sure that there is somebody out there listening to this conversation that is listening to what you're saying, that maybe they know you personally, or maybe they don't know who you are, and they're listening to you for the very first time. And before we give Angelina an opportunity to talk, I would like for you just to like say to the individual on the other side of the screen, this young lady that might be 16, 17, that is still wrestling with her decision, that is still wrestling with this self-image, wrestling with loving herself, and she thinks that freedom is being outside of the covering of the parents, outside of the household. You know, for people, we're not going to sugarcoat it. We all have a story. We all have a journey. We all have done foolish and dumb things that have come back to bite us, you know, when we look back at it. And, you know, there are people that know you personally, maybe that understand that you left the house and that you went out there and that you did you. But maybe now that you have this experience under your belt and that you have experienced for yourself that it is not what it seems. And it's not what it looks like, because freedom looks very good. Right? It looks like I can do whatever I want. I can go to this party. I can go out with a boyfriend. I can go this. But in reality, was it like that?
No. I mean,
did that freedom really give you happiness?
I mean, at that moment when you're there, obviously it's like, oh, like, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But then when you really look back, I'm just like, oh, like, is this what I want to do for, like, you know, for the rest of my life? Like, do I just want to continue doing this, like, you know, and stuff like that? But no, I really do encourage, you know, as much as whatever restrictions your parents have on you, or like curfews or whatever it is, just follow them, because at the end of the day, they know exactly what they're doing. And I was in the same place where you're at. I was at too. I was like, well, like, why do they get to do this and why do they get to do that? Like, why this and why that? And I took a different route, and I wouldn't want you guys to take that same route. So I do encourage you guys to just hear your parents out. You know, they have a reason why they do what they say they do. And at the end of the day, when you're 18, you make your own choices, and you make your own choice. And at that time, there's nothing much that your parents can do. But I do encourage them to, like, you know, just continue, like, being there with your parents and hearing them out and do what they ask for you to do, you know? It's not...
it's very difficult to be a parent, and it's very difficult to be a daughter and a son. I think that, you know, the dynamic between the families are very distorted, simply because religion distorted the family. So, it created such a divide. But, you know, one of the things that I love about the kingdom is that the kingdom is the only message, is the only thing that can bring the family back together. I remember me praying, you know, while you guys were gone, and I'm like, Lord, bring them back. However you bring them, we're going to receive them. You know, let them learn their lesson. Let them learn whatever it is that you want them to learn.
We learned our lessons.
And whenever they come back, you know, give us the heart, you know, to be able to just move on. Because, there is bitterness, and there is anger, and there is frustration, and there is all this stuff. But at the end of the day, the kingdom is above all of that.
Yeah, but I think what all of that comes is because you lose yourself. Like, you lose who you are. And sometimes when you're in that moment, you think, well, this is how I am. Like, this is, like, me. Like, but no, it's not really you. Like, you think it's you, but it's not you, because... a lot of people used to be like, oh, she's changed so much, and like, she used to be this sweet girl, she's this and she's that, like, all of this. But it's like, you sometimes gotta, like, just look back and be like, you know what, like, am I really myself? Like, is this really me? Like, and I feel like that's where it started, in a sense of, like, me trying to seek the kingdom more, because I was like, you know, this is what I wanted, but then I kind of don't even want this anymore. So now, like, I want to, like, figure out who am I? Like, why am I where I'm at? Like, I don't want to be here. I want to be here. Or like, why can I, like, you know, find out who I am? Because I didn't know who I was. And the older you get, the more you want to know those things, if that makes sense.
It's perfect sense.
Yeah.
How about you, Angie?
Well, my situation is way different. My mom's always been a single mom. I never had my dad in my life. Occasionally I would see him, but, you know. My mom was more free with everything. She trusted me to go anywhere I want, what time, as long as I told her, but I didn't want to leave. If that makes any sense. I wanted to stay home. I was more comfortable being home, where all my friends would go out, they would party. until one year, finally, I was, influenced.
Yeah.
And I did go out. I did explore. I did go house parties with my friends. Sorry, you guys, exposing you guys, but
you didn't name names, so they're still safe.
It's okay.
So I started going out there, started exploring things, and I felt like my situation was so weird because in the beginning I didn't want to do what my friends wanted to do. Yeah. I was the one that, Angelina doesn't do this. Oh, Angelina doesn't do that.
Let's
and
not invite her.
Yeah, it's just I didn't find interest in drinking, smoking until finally that year when a whole bunch of things were happening in my life. It was a crazy year. I decided, okay, I'm gonna be with my friends, and I was out that whole summer, 3 months. I would come home, clean, leave, and.
So what made you change that? You know what, this isn't what I want. I want something else.
Well, when I would go out with my friends, first I wouldn't drink. I was just kind of there with my friends, and then they kind of. It's also on me. It's not on them. I said yes. I'm not blaming it on them. I would do all that stuff. I did try certain things, and I realized looking at videos, looking at people's Snapchats, I was like, that's not me. Yeah. That is totally not me. That's not what being free is, because that's what I thought it was. Yeah. My friends are doing all these things. They're partying. Their parents are letting them go out, but I'm here, of course, because I wanted to, but I felt like I needed to do that because I thought they were free. I thought they were old enough. I thought that was just the thing to do. Yeah. They're growing up fast. That's what I'm saying. I guess what I seen with my group of friends is that they were all growing up way fast. Yeah. What stopped me was the videos, and then in these parties I was seeing.
So let me kind of clarify this. So would they take Snapchats or videos of you, and then you would look them back and say that's not me?
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's not how I see myself. That's not really who I am. Yeah. So that got you to reflect.
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
I would see, even including my friends, how they would act, and me just surrounding myself with people. And even in the beginning, before doing all that stuff, I promised myself I wouldn't, and then seeing myself do it. Yeah. I felt nasty on the inside. I felt unhappy. I felt unhappy before, but that even made me more unhappy because I thought that's what freedom was. I thought that's what I needed to be happy. Yeah. I thought that, that was just the thing to do. But then seeing all these videos, seeing my videos, because I took videos as well. Yeah. I was like, this is not Angelina. My cousins wouldn't appreciate this because I gotta remember, I also have little young cousins that are now in high school. Mm-hmm. I had to reflect, take a step back, and see if I seen any of my cousins do this, would I be happy? Nope, and the answer was no. Wow. It's like both of our situations are completely different. Yeah.
It's completely different, but I think they fall right in line into what this point is, and it says that being released from the oppressor does not guarantee the release from oppression. Responsibility does, because both of you guys eventually stopped doing the things that you thought were freedom, meaning going out to parties, getting into drinking, hanging around with friends, staying up late, all the stuff that everybody wants to do when they're young, right? Yeah. And that's what you consider freedom. But there's a point where this comes and oppresses you. And like you were saying, that it really struck me what you say, because it's very true. And I think that there's a lot of people that feel the same way, but they don't know how to express it. And you said that you felt dirty, you felt nasty, you felt like, man, this is not me. And now you weren't doing those things, but that caused a mental conditioning on you, seeing yourself in that condition. Did that drag on for years? Did it cause like a distorted image of yourself for a long time, or was it just like, I'm done with this and I'm moving on? Or did that do like?
Surprisingly, once summer was over and towards the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I was just hanging out with my friends, I stopped doing all those things. And I was looking through those videos. It didn't stay with me a long time. I seen those and I was like, nope, I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to drink. I'm never going to smoke weed. I'm not going to do any of those anymore. And I promised myself from here and out, I'm going to start focusing in school, because that was my distraction. I love school. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use this to distract me from doing all these things. I need to focus on myself. Yeah. And after that, I stopped talking about the summers. I stopped acting that way. And I just went back to who I was and who I appreciated more than. And than Angelina partying at these house parties. Like,
so for anybody that is going to listen to this, whether they're with us now or whether they're going to listen to it later, what can you say to them if they're going through this like phase or this season in their life where they're out there partying, but they're partying simply because they're being influenced or simply because they're being it's peer pressure, like you know, you're not the cool girl or the cool guy if you go out there, but then you feel guilty because of the things that you did while you were out there, because you know it's not you. What can you say to them to encourage them so that they can just either stop what they're doing or just overcome that peer pressure so that they can just be who they are?
It's kind of hard because everyone needs to see certain things in order to realize this is not what they want to do. Only thing I could do is kind of share what I did. I kind of had, this is hard. It really is, because I guess in the beginning I wasn't happy. I guess change your friends. I guess that's one thing. My friends, great friends. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but because I was around them, around them all the time, it made me want to do those things. Maybe it's to change, your group of friends.
Change your environment.
There you go.
Change your environment, change your friends. That's actually great advice, because you usually become the sum total of the 5 people you hang around with. So you gotta be able to check around the 5 people you're with, and if they're drinking, they're smoking, they're partying, having sex, doing all these things, you might just be the 6th. So you got to be careful who you're with, because you don't want to fall victim to the things that you hate. And sometimes you become what you hate because you're just around that environment.
Yeah, and that's all you get used to that environment. You get like, and that's what I had mentioned earlier, because back then, like, I thought this is normal, like, this is who I am, like, I don't know what people are saying, like, oh, Evelyn changed, Evelyn this, Evelyn that, like, no, this is me. Then you just gotta like step back and be like, yo, like, this is not me, like, I have to like change this, I have to change that, and at the end of the day, honestly, it's you that have to want it. You have to want it, because your mom can want it for you, your grandma can want it for you, your brother can want it for you, your sister can want it for you, but you have to want it yourself. And the moment that you want it for yourself, that is when you're gonna change your mindset or train your mind to be disciplined, to be more everything that you want to be, right? Like, you just have to continue like being more disciplined in who you want to be, and get out of that environment,
Yeah, I mean, the longer you stay in an environment, and this is the thing, this is scientific, by the way, is that us human beings are the only creatures in the universe that can adapt to any environment. So you can adapt to drugs, you can adapt to alcohol, you can adapt to being bitter, you can adapt to anger, you can adapt to any of these things.
It can even be in a relationship.
You can adapt to be unhappy in a relationship. You just get used to it. How many people are married that are not happy?
A lot.
So it's like we can adapt to anything. And that's what we have to be careful with, because sometimes we think like, oh, this is normal simply because we have adapted to it.
Yeah, because you're adapted to it, but not.
But it's not normal. It's not okay for you to have your husband beat you, or your boyfriend beat you, or for your boyfriend to humiliate you. It's not normal, like that, but you get so used to it because of the crowd of people that you're with, that you just say like, everybody's going through this. And it's not that way. I remember back in the day, I'm talking about years back, when I used to smoke weed, I used to think that everybody smoked weed simply because I smoked weed. So if I smoked weed, everybody smoked weed. So it's like, and we just tend to think that way, like, oh, it's okay for boyfriends to cheat, it's okay for boyfriends to do this, it's okay for boyfriends to do that, because everybody's doing it. And it's like, no, it's not okay. You know what? No. You keep your hands to yourself, buddy. But since we're in a crowd where everybody's handsy, we just think like that's what a boyfriend's supposed to do. He's supposed to test the grounds. No, he's not.
No.
It's like you keep your hands to yourself. So there's a lot of stuff that like girls and boys, they think that freedom is like, for the boys, they think that freedom is being able to have all of these girls and sleep around with all of these girls. And man, I'm a man. But no, being a man is being able to keep it in your pants until you're married. So
or do the proposal and marry her.
Yeah. Preferably before.
Before. Before. My bad. I'm sorry. Before.
You know, but if it's after the fact, do it.
Before.
It's okay. Propose and marry. It's not a big deal. But we gotta be able to speak that into the lives of these young people, because it's like, dude, you look at these kids nowadays, they confuse being boyfriend and girlfriend as being married.
Yeah. I know. That's
but
so true.
That, you see, for me, my issue with that is, I'm telling you, everything goes back to the father. Because even with that, they think it's okay because they don't have that father in their life.
They don't have that father figure.
And
well, for people that might not understand what Angelina is saying, we were having a conversation, and we traced all of our sorrows and all of our pains back to our fathers.
Yeah.
Meaning whether we had an absent father, meaning that he just impregnated our mother and then he left, or whether he was a father that stayed in the house but he was still absent, meaning that he didn't get involved in your life, he didn't give you no advice, he didn't give you anything, or just the hit and miss daddies, the people that just show up once in a while, like on Valentine's Day or 4th of July or Christmas.
I'm here to pick
So we're just here to pick you up so that you can know that I'm your daddy, so that you don't put no child support on or something like that. But we were tracing everything back to the father. It doesn't matter if it's a woman, a girl, a boy, man. The lack of a father, a covering over somebody's life, it is so detrimental. It causes so much pain, so much hurt, so much bitterness. And the majority of girls are looking for a father. And they confuse their boyfriend for a father. And the majority of men also are looking for fathers, and they find father figures in like, let's say the leader of the clique of the gang, or the bad boy of the school, or just an older gentleman that introduces them to pornography or introduces them to drugs or alcohol. And they're looking for father figures because we were designed and created by God to have a close relationship with our fathers. And that's why, when Jesus Christ came back, his number one goal was to restore our relationship with the Father. So that we can understand that there's nothing missing, nothing lacking, and that we can once again become whole. So, talk to us about that stuff, because how did having, missing a father or not having a father affect you?
It did, but that's okay. So in the beginning,
we know you overcame.
Yeah.
So the question is not like, were you able to move forward? Because you did.
Yeah.
And that's good for you, but you did it in spite of. But if it would have been your preference, you would have preferred for him to be there, because you needed him there for certain things.
Yeah.
I do want to say something. The crazy part, this popped up in my head. I didn't have a father to talk to, like, with certain things. Right. But one thing I now realize what I used to do is when I was feeling away and I couldn't go to my dad, I would pray.
Really?
I would pray, and that kind of like trips me out because like my grandma, she's religious. She's always gone to church. I've always gone to church with her here and there when she would force me to wake up at 6 a.m. to go. And she always taught us before bed when I was little as you have to pray. Before bed, you have to pray. Go on your knees, do this over your bed, pray. But of course, throughout the years, I stopped doing that. But I started doing it when I was in certain situations where I missed my dad. Mm-hmm. And I would pray to God, why do I feel this way? Why do I want my dad here? Why? So I feel like what helped is that I had God to talk to. Yeah. Because I couldn't go to my dad.
So you were looking still for a father.
Yeah. But I was, but then again, like we've talked about, he's our father. Yeah. So why am I gonna kind of like keep crying over someone that doesn't want to be in my life when he wants to be in my life?
Yeah, amen to that.
There you go.
Preach, Angie.
I know. It is, because at the end of the day, the desire of the spirit, the desire of the soul is always to connect back with your father. Mm-hmm. Whether it is your biological father, a spiritual father, or our God the Father.
Yeah.
And our spirits are always going to look for one of them. Every time that you're in trouble, any time that you're going through a certain situation, the first thing that comes to mind is God.
Yeah.
Why? Because in your spirit knows who your Father is.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to convince you about it.
Yeah.
So we got to be able to, in order to experience true freedom, we also have to be able to understand that true freedom only comes when we discover that relationship with God the Father.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say too, because I had to rediscover my relationship with you too. Like, as much as, like, I had to be able to recognize him and be like, I even like apologized to him, and I was like, like, I need to recognize you as my father, because I always saw him like, yeah, he's my dad, like, he takes care of me, like, he would spoil me, like, everything. But growing up, now I'm like, ever since I recognized who he was as my father, I feel like my mentality and my life just changed in a whole different aspect, where our relationship got even better. Like, but I guess there was a lot. I mean, I feel like we've come a long way as well. Yes. And that's like a whole other thing. But I felt like, like, it's so true what she says, because it's like, when I was able to do that and recognize him as my father and as my spiritual father and everything, like, it changed who I was, and then it also changed our relationship. It changed a lot, because like, I mean, we didn't have the perfect father and daughter relationship like how I wanted it to be, but I felt that as a person, like, if I want to have this relationship with my dad, like, I need to go and find that relationship with him, because sometimes we tend to like have like some mostly girls, I feel like, because sometimes they're like, oh, well, my dad's there, but we're cool, I say hi here and there, but like, in reality, it's like, sometimes I'll be like, no, like, I love my dad, and sometimes I express it a different way that I don't normally show it, but I kind of wanted to have that relationship with him. Like, I wanted to, like, I love my dad, so I wanted to have something more than, like, he's just my dad, and like, he took care of me and stuff like that. And then once that clicked, like, now I'm like, dad this, dad that, like, dad, can you do this, dad, help me. But now that whenever he gives me advice, now I actually do it. Now, like, I'm like, before it was like him telling me, Evelyn, do this, Evelyn, do that, but I'll be like, oh, I don't know, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. And then sometimes I wouldn't even do it. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then now that I was the one that wanted to have that relationship, the one that I came up and told him, hey, like, let's fix this relationship. Like, I want something more. I want something, like, better. And ever since then, like, our relationship changed in a sense where now whenever he gives me advice, now whenever he talks to me, I'm like, okay, I have to, like, take it in, or like see if he si me regaña, how do you say it in English? If he corrects me, now I take it more like, okay, like, I need to understand this, and I need to take it, and like, it is, what it is, and I know he loves me and he wants the best for me. So now my mentality changed in that aspect of, like, now when I talk to him, now, like, I take it more personal, I guess. Now I'm like, okay, like, this is what I need to do. Okay, this is what, like, he said it has to be done in this way, and so that's how it is.
So you have to be intentional.
Yeah, intentional is also a word.
It doesn't happen just because father and daughter, right?
Yeah.
It has to be intentional as far as looking for it, seeking for it. And another thing that changed was, when we were growing up, when you were younger, we clashed a lot.
Yeah.
I think that more than with the boys. Like, the boys would never talk back. They would never say anything. I would say something to the guys, and they're like,
I was a
done.
talk back.
But she would, like, talk back, snap back, and always ask why, and this and that, and right. And we would, like, just go at it.
Yeah.
But the thing was that we did care for each other, and we did love each other. And one thing that I can say is that when you love somebody, you clash with them.
Oh, yeah.
Because you care for them. And I will clash with her because I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? Who are you texting? What you doing on this thing and that app and the other app? And then, like, if I was to take the phone away, it would be like Armageddon. It was like World War III. Like, why are you taking my phone away and this and that? So at that time, it was just like me going after her.
Yeah.
When she matured and she started growing and she started developing her family, then it was more intention on her part to kind of like reach out to me. And I wouldn't like, even now in their marriage and where you're at, I don't say nothing. I just wait. I'm just there as a wise sage, just watching.
And then like the funny part is like he knows when something's wrong, so I'm like, oh, like I have to talk to my dad. Like I just have to like I have to tell him. Like we just like now like it's just so much different. And I know it's sometimes it might be different with you, but in most cases a lot of girls have their dad there, but they just don't have that relationship. It's just like, he's there and that's it. But I feel like having a good dad and having a relationship with your dad is the most important relationship. And I feel like I'm closer to my dad than I am with my mom, but I'm close to my mom too. But and I feel like there's certain things that I can go to my mom with, but with my dad, I'm just like, like dad, like I did this, I did that, like, help me, I don't know what to do, or like, stuff like that. So now I'm able to like go to him more humble, more be able to, hear him out and just be like, okay, like I'm wrong, I did wrong, and it is,
It is what it is, right? What am I gonna say?
Yeah.
I'm like, good thing that like I said, you have a husband that you can that can finish the job done now.
Yeah.
but basically, for people that are listening to the conversation, give us a like, share this message. Let's help out other teenagers, young adults, young girls, men that are going through certain situations. Let's get them into the kingdom, into their purpose, into their calling. If they have if you don't have a home church, we would love to be your home church. We have a whole bunch of young people in here that are looking to do life with you guys and help you out, guys, discover out the kingdom, help you guys go through the process of repentance and get you into what God wants for you. Because one of the things, like I said, that I love about the kingdom is that the kingdom, the first thing that it does is it restores the relationship between the Father and the sons, and the sons back to the Father. So I'm seeing this happening not only with me, but I'm seeing it happen with Angelina, with Evelyn, and with everybody that is here. This restoration is real, and there is nothing more beautiful than to be able to see intentionality, not only from the fathers, but also from the sons and the daughters. Where, like I said, Evelyn. I think she said a lot of stuff that most people will not understand what she said. And when she said that she had to recognize me, I think people don't understand recognition because she's my daughter.
Yeah.
But just like your father's your father, whoever you are listening on the other screen. Yeah. But if you don't recognize him as a father, you're always going to do whatever you will. Yeah. But as soon as you recognize him as a father, then you're going to start getting closer to his heart and getting closer to his will for your life. So it is very important for children to be able to recognize fathers. Why? Because once children recognize father, then they'll be able to recognize the voice of the father and do what the father says. Yeah. So, at the beginning, when we were growing up, we didn't have this understanding. We didn't understand these principles. The kingdom was something foreign to us. And we were just operating not out of authority, but out of power. Like, I'm your father, you do what I tell you to do, and you have no say, so shut up, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. And then that's where the frustration used to come sometimes, because it's like, okay, why can't my friends stay out till 1 o'clock and you want me here at 9? I'm like, because I want you here at 9. And I don't know where their parents are that they don't care that they're out there at 1 a.m. in the morning, because there's nothing good happening at 1 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. It's the only thing that's happening. The only thing that's happening at 1 a.m. is the things that I don't want happening. So I want you here at 9. And I know that you don't get it, you don't understand it, but it was just that struggle. But now, once we have this concepts of the kingdom, these principles, and it's hard to apply them because, like I said, she left home, and we didn't chase her. How long were you gone?
I think it was.
You were gone for a while. But
1 year? Yeah,
probably
it was
a
1
year
year
or something.
Living my best
life. Living your best life.
I was just kidding. I was not.
And we were home.
I was not.
Forced to apply principles that I didn't agree to, and I didn't like. So they left, and we didn't go chasing them. All three of them. We didn't go chasing them at all. My wife and I had to stay home and just say, like, hear people say these words to us. I thought you guys were kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were teaching them the kingdom.
Yeah.
I thought this is the kingdom here, the kingdom there. And I was like,
yeah.
it is what it is.
And they did. That's the thing, is that they did. But like Dad would like as our pastor preaches, is that we have our free will, and at the end of the day we do what we want to do. But until I was able to recognize him as my father, that's when I was like, okay, like I need to, come back to the kingdom, just change my mindset, and yeah, do follow the principles and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tear everything down, because when you come back, you have so many things that are holding you down.
Yeah.
And now you have to clean yourself up. You have to remove every
and
stain,
I feel like
every
that's,
wrinkle.
and also when you said clean yourself up, I feel like that was also a big issue, because you're back to zero, and then it's like, okay, now I have to like work on my mentality. Now I have to work on this. Now I have to work on that. Now I have to work on my self-esteem. Now I have to work on this. Now I have to work on that. So you're back to one. But then like with the kingdom, little by little, your mentality just starts changing and changing and changing until you find your new identity of who you really were.
Man, you come a long way, kid.
Yeah. Thanks to you though. I was able. No, I'm really grateful though. I'm really grateful for you and Mom, because you guys have helped me out a lot. Not only myself, but for David. We have come a long way, and we have a story. But yeah, like I just encourage everyone to just seek the kingdom, and no matter where you're at, it's just continue, because then you're gonna know who you are. And I feel like that's very important, like knowing who you are.
Oh, yeah.
And even like I was telling my mom, like even now that I'm married, I feel like I'm practicing singleness even more, because I'm like, oh my God, like why didn't I practice this when I wasn't married, or like, so now it's like a whole other story now, a whole other
I told you before you got married about all this stuff.
Now it's like, oh
now you're stuck with David.
No, but
we love you, David. Don't worry about it.
No, but yeah, I'm really grateful for you, Dad, and I'm grateful for Angie too, because I am able to talk to her and sometimes vent and like
I know
talk to her and everything. So thank you for being there.
It's much easier to do life with people that are on the same journey.
Yes. Because they're able to understand each other and give each other that, advice that we need,
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, here, that's what we need a lot of.
Yeah.
And that's what we're learning to do at this church. It's because everyone has their own situations. Like, I'm going through something that she probably already went through, and she's going through something that I probably already went through. Like, disregard, like, our ages. But, like, we're all going through the same thing, or we went through the same thing. So it's always good to even talk to like anyone around you, because they can always help you get rid of that bitterness inside, because they already overcame that.
Yeah.
Like for me, if someone has father issues, they can come to me and maybe I can release that bitterness for them.
Yeah.
If there's a female out there that wants to leave their parents and their parents are actually there trying to help, maybe you can release that bitterness from them.
Yeah, that's so true.
Every situation, and this took me a while to kind of like accept, because God does everything. He does good and the bad, but for a reason. So everything that I've gone through, I had to put in my mind, like, there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
Maybe my cousins are going through something and I'm supposed to help them with it, and I'm the one that was able to get out and be free.
Yeah.
Where they're still stuck.
Yeah.
And I do see them asking me things. Oh my gosh, when I went with one of my cousins, she was telling me she was surrounded by friends and they all tease her because she hasn't had her first kiss.
Aww.
And I was like, hold up. I was like, And the funny thing is that happened to me. And all of my friends are doing things and I'm over here like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. You guys leave me alone. But they were, Angelina, have your first boyfriend. I don't want a boyfriend. Angelina, you need to be with someone. You need this, you need that. You need a guy to put you in your place. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I have crazy stories, but it's not right now. So situations like that where my cousins go through the same thing, because they're going to go through the same thing I went through in high school. So me going through that, I'm thankful. And getting out of it, I'm thankful. God helping me getting out of it, I'm very thankful, because I can help my cousins where they don't make the same mistakes I did. And that's very important. It was so important. Like, maybe one day Bella's going to ask you a question. When she gets to a certain age, she's going to ask.
Like, ask Grandpa. He knows.
And maybe you can help her because you've gone through the same thing. My mom's helped me with certain things that she's gone through, that I'm going through, and she's helped me. Like, you can...
Yeah.
And it's not even, not only the family or the people that are close to you, but like I said, like the whole purpose of being able to be here on a Wednesday doing a live, sitting down with you girls, is to be able to have other young ladies or other young men look at you guys. And like I said, we all have a journey. We all have a past. We've all done mistakes. We've all had regrets. We've all felt shame and guilt. But it is not over. You know, we can life continues. We can still overcome them. We can still outgrow them. We can still mature. And you guys are the evidence and the proof that God does do wonderful things. That life does not end in a mistake. That life does not end in a place of darkness. But it sometimes is the beginning of something great. And I want all the people that are going to watch this after we end this life to be able to just understand that, you know, we are a church that loves people, that wants to walk with them, that wants to help them in their journey, to mature them, find their purpose, find their assignment. Because as long as you're walking in your purpose, you don't have time for foolishness. The only time you have time for foolishness is when you don't have a purpose or don't understand your purpose. But if you're walking in fulfillment of God's assignment for your life, even if the hottest guy shows up, you'll still say no. And even if the hottest girl shows up, you'll still say no, because you're in your walk of purpose. But if you have nothing to do, then I got nothing better to do than to be with you then.
And then I remember I was telling you the other day, I was like, sometimes like you feel like, okay, well, I'm already here. Like, I have love, I have patience, I have this, I have that. But the more I feel like there's this certain point in your life where you just want to continue having, like, how much more love can I have? How much more patience can I have? How much more anything can I have? And I feel like it just doesn't stop there. You can always have more patience, more love, more everything, you know? And it's good.
And that's exactly why we want to have you girls up here, because we want to have a female voice out in the world. Your voice is so important to me, because there are people that need to hear you, that understand you, that you can help develop that love, help develop that patience, that long suffering, that self-control. And I can't do it. But they see you and they're like, you know what, Evelyn, you know what, Angelina, I need to talk to you. And now you can help them overcome so many things. So, you know what, Wednesday nights, you know, being here, it's intentional about bringing you. I know it's your first time being out here, putting yourself out there, having your story. I just want you to know that I'm not embarrassed of you at all. I'm not ashamed of any of your past mistakes or any of the things that you have ever done. I'm your father. I love you, and I cover you, and I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm here creating this platform so that you can sit there and use your voice to help somebody else. And there is nothing that anybody else can come here and tell me about you that is going to make me feel different about you. And I want everybody out there on social media land and everybody to know, hey, I know my daughter's past and I love her regardless. I cover her, I protect her, I'm her father. Not only her pastor, but I'm her father primarily. So the reason that I do that is because I want her to become the tree that God designed her to be, so that she can develop her fruit and that her voice can go out there to the masses where it needs to be heard. So I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. I'm joyful to see you becoming the young lady that you're becoming and the mother that you're becoming. And I'm just going to keep on putting more pressure, because you need to become who God wants you to be. We got no time for foolishness. We got to show the world what family looks like, because people don't understand what family is. And family is not perfect. Family is messy. Family is controversial sometimes, but family is family, and we stick together, and we're going to expand the kingdom no matter what.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Dad. I'm really happy to have you guys here, and like I said, I'm really grateful for you, Dad. And yeah, I would love to come back and talk to you guys, and bear with me because this is my first time, so I was a little bit shy, but we'll do better next time. But I'll do better next time. But thank you, Dad, again.
Yeah. So I want to just thank everybody that has tuned in, that has taken their time out of their day just to be here with us. Like I said, this was not a teaching. It was not.
Yeah.
It was not meant to be educational. It was just a conversation,
Yeah.
a conversation where we can expose Angie, where we can expose Evelyn, where we put them out there into the world. We give them a platform so that they can mature their voice, because this is House 633, where you come to become.
Yes.
You come all messed up, but this is where you become what God wants you to be.
Yes.
You come frustrated, but this is where you find your peace and your joy. You come lonely, but this is where you find your wholeness. This is
Yeah.
House 633.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not a perfect church. We're not. We don't have it all together. We're still building. We're still trying to create
Yeah.
the atmosphere and the place so that people can come and join us and form part of something great that God is doing. But we want to present to you guys where we're at, what we're doing, what we look like, because sometimes people think that they hear the message of the kingdom and the message is so elevated that people get so scared and they don't realize that we're not perfect, that we're still fighting through every single obstacle, but we don't look back anymore.
Yeah.
Like our past no longer has a hold of our present and can't control our future.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to put you guys out here as testament, as evidence that the kingdom is real, that the kingdom message works, that the principles applied will take you places that religion will never be able to take you.
Yes.
So definitely share this message with people. Give it a like, give us a comment, follow them on Instagram, not to try to hook up with them, but to seek God.
Very
So just if you have a question in regards to singleness, in regards to just living the kingdom life, give them a holler. Don't be foolish and don't try to do something dumb in their DMs. Be genuine, or come to House 633. We'll help you walk here.
Yeah.
It was just a pleasure to be here. Last words for you girls before I give it off. Speak to the audience.
I do. I just want to say thank you guys for listening. Again, I'm free for anyone that wants to discuss certain things. I love to help. Don't be scared. We all have flaws. I'm not perfect. You can always come to me. Again, just thank you for watching, because even this is your time you're giving us. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much again for allowing us to be here. We do invite you guys to come to House 633. Trust me, it will change your mindset. It's going to change who you thought you were, but trust me, you would want to have that. You would want to become. Wait, I'm sorry. The house where you come to become. Yes.
You see, we're not perfect.
So, yeah, I do encourage you guys to come. And like my dad said, if you guys have any questions or you guys have any, want to talk to us or anything, let us know, and we'll be here to help you guys out for sure.
And we definitely would love to meet you guys in person.
Yes.
I know that there are people that watch online that love the safety of the screen.
Yes.
But there's nothing like doing community, doing life together, getting to know new people, growing together. So House 633 is the place where you come to become.
Yes.
We are ending this season, but God has amazing things for this new season to come.
Yeah.
We will start the new year with going back to basics, Kingdom 101. So if you have never heard the message of the kingdom, if you don't know what the kingdom is, we invite you January to be with us in the house so that you can hear this message live in person, because sometimes it's better. You receive more in person than what you could receive on the other side of the screen. So if you've never heard the kingdom, if you're curious about the kingdom, what is this message? Is this something other than Christianity or whatever?
Yeah.
Hey, don't stay with the doubt. Just come into the house. Come in here, and you'll hear a transformational message that is going to propel you into your earthly assignment. We're going to help develop you, maximize your gift and your talent so that you can become who God has really called you to be. And then we also want to thank all the givers. I just can't thank you guys enough. You know, all the people that give online, all the people that are responsible here within the house that sow seeds into House 633. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys, and other people wouldn't be able to receive the message of the kingdom and be able to be developed if you weren't responsible with your giving and so generous with your giving. So we pray for you, and we thank you for trusting us, and we also pray for your businesses and your jobs, and we pray for open doors, for open windows of heaven, for favor over your life, so that whatever it is that you sow into the house can be multiplied exponentially into your life. You can partner with us through Zelle at Honor Seed at house633.com. Honor Seed at house633.com. We'll see you guys on Friday. To the King.
To the King.